Since you're in the middle of a 5-game road trip, how much different have these road trips been? I mean, last year, you guys talked about like going out to dinner, having trivia with CD, and doing those types of things while on the road. So, how much of that have you still been able to do this season?
Everything's so limited because of COVID, but we try our best, still try to do like a little trivia stuff or just even have fun by ourselves. Kind of just, always with each other, talking with each other, hanging out together as much as we can. And it's not like it's forced. I mean, it happens naturally anyway. And that's one of the my favorite parts about this team. And so the bonds that we have and stuff, especially going on the road, it just makes it super fun, on top of playing.
Do you have any activities in particular that the team enjoys doing while on the road together?
I think when CD decides to do trivia and like her little activities, I think that's always fun for us and stuff. But like I said before, we're always just talking with each other, always around each other. Always have that bond. So, yeah.
Hey, Olivia, it's Alan with SNY. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good. Has any sense of routine settled in at all this season with the stops and the starts and so on now that you've kind of gone through February? Is there any sense of normalcy or any sense of routine settled in?
I would like to say yes. Knock on wood, we haven't had any incidents or anything come up and stuff recently. So I think we've been able to kind of fall into a nice routine, especially with so many away games that we've had, and then ones coming up too. Just kind of getting into that mindset. Coach always reminds us, to be mature about these road trips, come in, handle business, and then, we leave and things like that. And so I think once we have that kind of mindset going into games and things like that, it really helps create a routine for us. And not just in games, but also in practices too. Just come in, work on what we need to, learn what we need to, and prepare for the next game, and then kind of just finish out each time like that. And I think that's also helping us become more efficient in practice and then carrying that over to games.
Hey, Olivia, Sean Pregame with Fox 61. Coach was just talking about you and Aaliyah maybe playing a little bit different style of game. He says you're a little bit more finesse. She likes to kind of get after it. Can you talk a little bit about that kind of that bond that you two have kind of in the lane in the paint?
Yeah, I think it's a great dynamic that we have. I think it definitely helps us, especially going preparing for March and in the tournament. And so she's getting better every single game, and her confidence has just soared. And so being able to play with her in the low post, or she's in the low post, and I'm in a high, or vice versa, just kind of getting more experience with the high low and kind of looking for her, and she's looking for me. I think we're getting better at that too.
Thank you.
Liv, it's Carl Adamek. How has travel for this team been different than in your first 2 years, in that you haven't had to travel as many miles, and you don't have, often like getting, like Coach said, getting in at 3 and 4 in the morning. How has it been different? How do you think it's been helpful for your team from a mental aspect?
Definitely. I definitely think that. I mean, I feel like just for anybody, I mean, playing games like that and then having to come in, 3, 4 in the morning, and then on top of that, having to go in person class. That's something that hopefully, I mean, that's a normal college experience. So maybe the freshmen will get to have that, sometime in their career here. But I think for this team specifically, I think that does help us.
And second question, I know this movie came out before you were born, but have you ever seen or ever heard of Hoosiers?
I have.
You've seen it?
I think I've heard of it. I don't know if I've seen it.
And the reason I
feel
ask
like it's one of those things I should have seen, right?
Well, the reason I ask is the arena you're going to play in on Saturday is where it was where the championship game of it was filmed.
Oh, Okay, that's probably a CD trivia question, no doubt.
Well, good. Now
Yeah.
you'll be ready.
Right.
Let me ask something quick.
Mhm.
What's it like playing with Paige and the way she passes the ball?
She has a great insight for the court, and her IQ is incredible. So she's able to see things, even before it happens, or make certain plays happen. And it's really fun playing with her, especially just like her vision and how she's able to kind of incorporate everybody into the offense.
Thank you.
Hey, Olivia, if I could follow up off of Carl's question, it seems like you and Paige just work really well together, whether or not you're screening for her and rolling to the basket or you're passing to her. How do you feel like you've just developed that kind of chemistry, the two of you on the court since the beginning of the season?
I think it really just starts in practice and kind of working on the reads and passing, especially if she's backdoor cuts or coming off of screens and things like that. And if I'm rolling and she definitely looks for rollers, she definitely is looking for people to pass to and stuff. So I think just working on that in practice from the beginning of the season and trying to just touch up on that every single time and get better at it.
One of the things that Coach had mentioned recently is that he wants you guys to play at a quicker pace because he thinks that that's better than getting kind of bogged down in a half-court offense. Do you feel like the team, especially this team that's such a good passing team, like really thrives off of that? And how do you see that coming together with the postseason nearing?
I think we definitely do thrive off of that and the fast transition pace. And so I think, we're getting better at it, but it's definitely not at the level that we want it to be and that he wants it to be. So I think we're capable of doing more. And I think our transition game will definitely help us going into the tournament and, not just having to rely on the half court offense and getting set and having to go through that, but definitely, make other teams run and keep up with us and then also just get easier buckets too.
This is a little bit of a broader question about kind of the sport, but I don't know how much you've watched other teams. There's a lot of upsets this last week and kind of really this whole season. Do you feel like that could be maybe a product of COVID, or do you feel like maybe it's just there's more parity or fewer dominant teams this year? I don't know if you have any impressions on that and what that also means for you guys going into March, where it seems like any team maybe could really win it all.
Yeah, I can't really speak for, whether it's because of talent or, who's on different teams and what. I do think COVID has affected a lot of teams. It definitely affected our team, for those 2 weeks. So I can only imagine for other teams who have maybe been shut down like once, twice, multiple times, or not at all, that have had to miss games and couldn't get into certain rhythms. So for sure, I think COVID's affected that.
Thanks, Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Olivia, one more from Alan. Just curious, when you guys had that couple day break, 3 or 4 day break after the Georgetown game, the games since then seem to have a different feel. Like you guys came out of that break and said, yeah, we got this. Does it feel differently now than it did maybe a month ago?
Definitely. I think we were talking about that earlier today too. Just with the way everything feels, our offense, our defense, especially, because that was one of the big things, we've been struggling with early on in the season. But I think that break was, much needed. And so coming out of it, we had spent a lot of time in practice, kind of just going over what we needed to continue to work on. And then afterwards, just finding that placement with everybody's roles and the way we work together. And I think moving forward, it just keeps getting better.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Olivia, it's Doug with Hearst. Gino mentioned he's, I guess, scaled back the playbook, you could say, since the beginning of the season. I don't know. I mean, how much has changed in terms of X's and O's in practice? And, is it easier in a sense as you move along here later in the season?
What was that? Sorry.
No, sorry, go ahead.
I think a lot has to do with our chemistry too. That's a really, I think to me, a key piece right now. is the reason why things are starting to click together and kind of form together. Is we have gotten better, on both ends, offense, defense, but it's clicking in the right places at the right time because of chemistry and just the way we've been able to work together in practice and things like that.
And a separate question, Gino mentioned, he also said that you guys were able to get on the out to dinner for the Georgetown game. Obviously, it's different this year with everything, but was that a nice change of pace just to get out and because obviously road trips have been very unique this year?
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely nice to be able to just go out with my team and kind of enjoy that aspect that we don't get to do much of anymore. So it was definitely fun. Definitely a great time.
Any other questions for Olivia?
I guess I'll jump in again if no one else has one. Your passing, I noticed your assists are up, and everyone that's kind of the offense flows better when everyone's passing like this. I mean, have you made a concerted effort to work on that aspect of your game? Do you feel like that's an area where you've grown your passing?
I think so. I was talking to Coach about it at one point, and just kind of realizing my role in the offense. I get a lot of touches with the ball, and realizing that I'm trying to look for the open person, look for the open cutter, somebody coming off a screen, things like that, that can just translate into quick or easy buckets or just get somebody open at the right time. So I definitely try and make a concerted effort to be an efficient passer.
And what allows you to play with Aaliyah as well as you have?
I think just her IQ too. Her IQ and her toughness down low definitely help a lot. And she's also, willing to look for me as I am for her, especially in high low. So I think playing with her makes it a lot easier just from those simple factors. And she only just continues to get better each game. So it's really cool to see.
Hey, Liv, this is Vicky Fulkerson from the New London Day in Connecticut. I was wondering, you guys have been passing the ball so well lately. Is that just kind of infectious? Were you a good passer when you came to UConn? And how much fun is it like to have Paige and Nika, and then like you've gotten in on the act, and Evina has been passing well, and everybody's kind of getting in on the act. Do you feel like it's been going really well passing?
Yeah, I think it's contagious for our team. Just finding the open person, making an extra pass. And it's also fun to play like that too. I think we all believe it's fun to play like that. So that definitely helps when we're also just trying to look for each other and just trying to get the easiest bucket, most wide open shot that we can. So I think all that working together in our offense really does kind of showcase, we're looking for the extra person, and, we're all trying to help each other out in that way.